Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about family dynamics. The holidays always kind of bring up a lot of things for me, and so just talking about family dynamics helps me process dealing with them. So I love my family, but it's like I feel like it's a love because we share blood type of thing. I don't necessarily like them all the time. So I grew up kind of in an environment where my confidence wasn't necessarily boosted. Like I felt like it was you had to be good at things in order to receive love or in order for people to talk to me. um you had to be good at sports, or you had to be good in school. And it was just a lot, and I didn't really feel connected to my family for a very long time, and I just thought oh, when I'm older we'll have a relationship, or when I can drink with them I'll feel closer to them. And it just it worked for a little bit, and then once I stopped drinking I just feel I'm kind of back to square one, where I don't necessarily know how to relate to my family anymore. And I grew up where my family judged everyone. I grew up Irish Catholic, and so you're supposed to love your neighbor and all that jazz, but that's not what it actually is. And very much they would pass judgment on people and have nicknames for people so you could talk about them. And I don't know, people who would walk into a restaurant or walk into an event that wasn't in our inner circle family, it was you're passing judgment on what they're wearing, what they look like, etc., just judging them before you even knew them. And so I just thought that everyone was like that. I genuinely grew up thinking oh, when I'm walking into a room, all of these random strangers are judging me because that's that's what my family does. So I was very self-conscious, and I don't know, I just always felt super weird and uncomfortable going into a place where I didn't know people, because I just assumed they were judging me because that's how I grew up and that's what I saw. And so it took me, I don't know, maybe when I went away to college I realized that that wasn't normal, and kind of, well, definitely when I started traveling for my job and moving from place to place, I'm oh, these people are not judging me. A lot of them genuinely want to get to know me. And so then I had to deconstruct that programming of judging people as soon as I saw them, and making assumptions about people, because I feel people's energy. So that part, the energetics, I'm very comfortable with not liking someone based on their energetics, but I'm not judging them and who they are and what they're wearing. I'm just ooh, this person feels we're not aligned, and it feels off. But it's really hard now going back into family dynamics and knowing the judgment, and knowing how, if one family member is not there, that's who's being talked about. And for me, I haven't been to a family function in a year, and so it's going to be very interesting going back into that situation. And with family it's hard because they have this vision of who you are as a person because of past experiences, and when they don't see you or don't know what's going on, they see you as this version of you always, and it's hard for them to process any growth or differences, especially when they haven't grown or changed. When my family all lives pretty much where they grew up. within like a few minutes of each other, and it's like I don't want that. Like I've always wanted to like branch out and like do new things, and so it's hard when I've like been on this like trajectory of growth, going back to environments where like hasn't necessarily been growth in the like volume and trajectory that like my growth has been. And so it's just like so hard to deprogram yourself when you're just taught this way for so long and you've lived in a certain way for so long, to like just be like, no, this isn't who I am. Like that's okay that you see me this way, but like that's not who I am, and I'm not going to like take on your projections just because like that's how you're feeling. And so it's really hard around the holidays, like going back into those environments and just like not wanting to be that way anymore, not wanting to fit into the box that they've like put me in, and not wanting to like pass judgment on people. And a lot of my family members like show love by like teasing and like pretty much like bullying, and it's like I don't receive love that way. Like that doesn't make me feel good. And so I've had family members like judge me on like what I'm wearing, or a few Christmases ago I had lost a lot of weight because my job was like stressful, and my aunt came in and like announced like, are you on drugs? Like why are you so skinny? And it just like the judgment and like not knowing like that I was like internally struggling and like really battling with my anxiety, and then to have like someone just like call it out and like accuse me of that. And then once I stopped drinking, it was like, oh, like what'd you get, a DUI? And it's like I just can't, like, can we just like live? Can you just let me live and just like experience me instead of like projecting? So yeah, family dynamics, growing up the way that I did, and like how I am now versus how I was and how like they see me, it's a lot this time of year. And so anyone who's struggling with family dynamics, like I see you, and I hope that you get through the holidays and enjoy it, and just know that like no one can take away your healing. Like you know how far you've come, and you know who you are now and who you are becoming, so no one can ever like take that from you. And I needed to hear that for myself. So thank you for being here, and I will talk to you soon.